Wondering how safe the new Kia Tasman is? We're about to find out. Chasing cars. Honest reviews of your next car.
Brought to you by
ANCAP performed its typical destructive crash tests on the new Kia Tasman, and we were there to witness the frontal offset test where a vehicle collides with a dolly, both travelling at 50 kilometres an hour. It's a pretty intense thing to see, with plenty of energy transferred from vehicle to dolly and a lot of loud noises. A buzz of Kia executives surrounded the Tasman after its crash test to make sure this testing lined up with Kia's own in-house testing. As we expected, the Kia Tasman achieved a full 5-star rating in ANCAP safety testing. This will help it appeal to families and businesses alike. That said, it wasn't all perfect. Although the Tasman achieved strong ratings across the board that were nicely balanced, there were some issues noted with the vehicle's crash performance. In the full-width frontal crash test, the driver dummy's pelvis slipped beneath the lap section of the seatbelt, and this incurred a penalty. As I said though, the Tasman mostly performed very well and did extremely well in the witnessed MPDB test, where it only posed a moderate risk to oncoming vehicles. This is much better than other recent 5-star utes, including the BYD Shark 6, Mitsubishi Triton, GWM Cannon Alpha, Jack T9, Ford Ranger and Isuzu D-Max, all of which attracted many more penalty points than the Tasman's 2.46 score. It's worth noting that the Tasman's 5-star rating doesn't apply range-wide. It's only at the moment for 4x4 dual cab variants, and it's not even to all of those. An interesting morsel about the Tasman's ANCAP rating is that top spec models like this X Pro I found out in the car park will not be rated 5 stars, they'll go unrated. And that's because of this lower valence here. As you saw on the car, the SX Plus that was crash tested, it has an extra piece of plastic underneath there. That is for lower limb performance in pedestrian safety tests. This car goes without that, and therefore without an ANCAP rating. The Tasman's safety assistance systems were generally praised as well, with the ute scoring 80% in those categories. We're told the Tasman still has Kia's default on speed bong and driver monitoring assistant. We'll have to wait to see how this plays out in the real world and whether they really help the driver. For some further insight, we spoke to ANCAP's CEO about the Tasman's results and the future of ANCAP safety testing. So we're with ANCAP CEO Carla Horveg, and I've got a couple of questions to ask about this crash test. Firstly, what does this specific test show us about this car?
So this test is the frontal offset test, and we are looking at the structure of the vehicle and how well it protects the occupants inside. We've got an adult driver, we've got a passenger, and then we've got 2 kids in the back. And the dummies are going to measure readings of the forces felt during the crash, and that will help us work out what kind of occupant protection this car gives.
And just from my background, the Tasman's obviously quite a heavy vehicle at over 2 tonne. Does this give it any particular advantage in this test?
So what we tend to see is that heavier vehicles are at both an advantage and a disadvantage. So when we're talking about something like a ute, like this vehicle, it's higher. That can give it some advantages in the test, but that can be offset by the compatibility, and we're using the barrier, which is deformable, to ascertain how much damage will be done to a counterparty vehicle. And the vehicle size is roughly the size of a small car, so it's about 1,400 kilos. So we're looking at what kind of deformation has occurred to the front of the barrier, and we use all of that information to assess what we call compatibility, or how much damage this vehicle is going to do to a counterparty.
And then is it safe to say this test is a sort of leveller for heavier vehicles then?
Yeah, so the compatibility results in what we call a compatibility modifier, where we take some points away from the score depending on how much damage is done to the counterparty vehicle. And so that's a way of levelling or making sure that bigger vehicles aren't at a significant advantage when it comes to crashes with a smaller vehicle.
Interesting. And then moving away from the crash test and into the future, because I'm really interested to see how ANCAP is going to hold manufacturers accountable when it comes to ADAS systems or driver assistance systems. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, so from 2026, we'll see the next iteration of our protocols come out. And we've been doing a fair bit of work on lane support systems as well as all of the advanced driver assistance systems. So there will be some changes that come through from 2026. There will be specific changes around the features that make a lane support system, shall we say, more enjoyable to drive versus those that are less enjoyable to drive. And we've managed to quantify some of those factors, and that will form part of the protocols from 2026.
Interesting. And it'll be separate from the star rating system, is that correct?
It'll actually be part of the star rating system, so it'll be integrated and built in as part of what we're looking at in the stock standard safety ratings that we're doing.
Great. Awesome. Well, look forward to that. And thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers. So there you have it. The Kia Tasman is the latest in a long line of dual cab utes to receive a 5-star ANCAP rating, securing that peace of mind for family buyers and businesses alike. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments section down below if you reckon the Tasman is going to be able to give the Hilux and Ranger a real headache when it arrives. Plus, tell me what you think about ANCAP's future safety regulations. Do they go too far, or do they not go far enough? Have your say down below, and while you're there, why not hit subscribe to the Chasing Cars YouTube channel? And as always, thank you very much for watching.